You're popping, gang. Hope everybody here. Hope y'all got it. This smoke with Peso. Cue the intro.
Walk up on them with that boom and let them have it. Come here, nigga. These niggas pussy, I'm a demon.
So y'all know I usually got my headphones off. Hey man, I'm happy. We had 250. You know what I'm saying? We 50 from 300. So when we hit 300, we need 200 more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm happy. I'm ready to do this thing, man. Y'all know what I'm saying? Before we dive into this video, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, ring that bell. And we gonna get right to this body cam footage. Killer thinks he got away until the cops found a clue. Found this clue. Man, I learned. Somebody, while you commit a crime, bro, you can make a million mistakes and only remember 5. Or okay, million is a number you can't even think about. Cool. You can make 5 mistakes while committing a crime, bro. 5 mistakes, right? 5 mistakes, right? And only remember 1, or only remember 2, or 3, or 4, but you don't remember all 5, gang. You're not gonna remember all 5 mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So we already minute over. So we gonna dive right into this thing. Like, it ain't working.
Victim's advisor, he's been shot. We got a lot of blood.
Hey.
Help, 3 times.
Where you shot?
Stomach, 3 times.
Who shot you?
I'm looking down.
These breathless pleas for help were made by 31-year-old Mitchell Jones Jr. after he had been brutally attacked and stabbed over 25 times. As the detectives dove into the investigation, they would uncover a number of puzzling leads, including foreign DNA.
As I open the door, I see passive spatter on the floor.
An abusive partner, and the car the killer drove, caught on camera.
We see a black vehicle backing out of the victim's driveway.
But they hit one dead end after another, and they began to worry that maybe the killer had gotten away.
It becomes very frustrating, and it puts the big question mark. Are you going to get a solve, or is this case going to go cold?
However, when nearly all hope seemed lost, a new form of technology would emerge, giving them one final clue that would crack the case wide open.
If it wasn't for this new piece of technology, I don't know if we could have solved this homicide.
At 9:30
Oh, wait, never had one like this. Hold on. Hey, ooh, we never had this one.
p.m. on November 23, 2018, a critically injured Mitchell Jones Jr. made a heartbreaking 911 call.
I can't go. I'm done. Oh,
Okay, tell me exactly what happened, sir. Tell me the address.
I'm dying.
Sir, I need to know where you are. Okay, you said someone was still there. Are they still there?
Yes.
Can you tell me if anybody has a weapon?
Yes. Paul.
Officers from the Cobb County Police Department rushed to respond to the scene in Marietta, Georgia. When they arrived, they found his front door wide open.
Cobb County Police? Cobb Police?
The officers entered with caution, unsure of whether the attacker was still within the house.
Cobb County Police? Let's go up. Cobb County Police, taking something out here in the house.
But they were about to hear the most chilling cry that would send shivers down their spine. They found the bedroom locked from the outside and forced their way in, but nothing could have prepared them for the gruesome scene that lay before them.
Victim's advisor, he's been shot. We got a lot of blood. Where were you shot?
So he got shot and stabbed, or was his stab wounds just so bad it looked like he got shot? That's crazy.
Who shot you?
I'm looking down.
The bedroom was a horror show. The walls were bathed in blood, the room itself was in complete disarray, with broken glass everywhere and clear signs of a violent struggle. But what was most chilling was the sheer intensity of the violence, a scene straight out of a nightmare. Someone had really wanted to kill that night. And that's when, at the foot of the bed, they found the victim, 31-year-old Mitchell Jones, barely alive. Every breath seemed like it could be his last, but his survival offered a rare opportunity for detectives, a chance to hear directly from the victim. But his answer would only lead to more questions for the detectives.
Go get that neighbor next over there.
Do you know who was in here with you?
Yeah, he took my cell phone.
Rather than giving them a name, Mitchell kept repeating that his attacker had taken his phone. In the meantime, paramedics and more officers arrived at the scene. While the paramedics did their best to stabilize...
Wait. We not gonna go over how he said the neighbor. Go talk to the neighbor. She knows. What do you mean by that?
Mitchell and rush him to medical care. Detective Sarah Penarelli and Detective Carrie Grimstead began their investigation. As they took in the crime scene, two things stood out. First, something at the front door caught their eye.
As I opened the door, I seen passive spatter on the floor. I know that the incident took place upstairs.
Yep. I was just thinking that. Usually, bro, if you attack somebody with a knife, right? Okay. So this is what you gotta know about blood. Blood is very slippery, right? So if you sitting there trying to, if you sitting there stabbing somebody, right? You stab them. That blood is gonna go everywhere, right? And when you go everywhere, it's gonna go all over the knife, right? So as you stabbing, right? Just say you hit a bone or a thick muscle, and it's something to stop that knife. Well, it's blood all over your hand now. It's blood all over the knife. So, and yes, it's blood in your palm from the blood on your hand and the blood on top of the knife that drip down because it's a liquid. Liquid do what? Come on now, keep it up with me. So when you stabbing them, so you hit a thick muscle or bone, the knife gonna get stuck, not stuck, but it's gonna hit hard. It's like, you know, hit a brick wall for you. So you do that, and as soon as you do that, the knife, your hand's gonna slip down the knife. If you slip down the knife hard enough, you know, not knowing that's finna, it's finna happen, you stabbing with force, you're gonna cut your hand really bad. It's not gonna be like a little regular cut, like, ooh, I cut my hand. I gotta. No, it's gonna be like a slice. So you're gonna bleed a lot. So if you running out, that blood could have dripped off. You know what I'm saying? Or you can accidentally stab yourself. You know what I'm saying? Keep up.
There was no way that was the victim's blood. That had to have been left by another person.
The cops had hit the jackpot very early in the investigation. They had the attacker's DNA, which was a crucial piece of evidence. However, little did they know that this was just the beginning of the most twisted case they would ever encounter. It was collected and stored, ready to send for testing. But there was something else at the scene that the detectives found noteworthy.
The candles were lit.
I'm feeling it.
There were bottles of water. When the officers found him,
If y'all feeling this, drop it in the comments. I'm feeling this. I ain't gonna lie, we ain't never had one like this. I'm feeling it.
he was in his underwear. So this is more of a romantic relationship or somebody really close to Mitchell.
It seemed very likely that whoever the culprit was, they were someone Mitchell was romantically involved with. This made the theft of his phone all the more significant, as police were now sure the attacker had taken it to cover their tracks. To learn more, they would now have to speak to those who knew Mitchell and see if they were aware of who he was involved with. They knew where to start as well. Mitchell's next-door neighbor, whom he had mentioned in his pained cries, could hold the key to the entire investigation.
Oh, God.
It was right at this moment that she revealed to the police who had been visiting Mitchell on the night he was attacked.
You saw him with another man at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
The young female just out there, she's saying another guy was with this guy. And this gay, you know, she's saying, and that this car's been here a lot.
Another neighbor recounted how Mitchell often had his friends over, and they would sometimes be a little loud. But that night had been different.
But that evening, the noise got a little louder and a little rowdier. Then I heard the banging on the walls. I remember thinking, sounds like they're fighting.
Finally, Mitchell's mother put Detective Panarelli in touch with one of his close friends, Jasmine, and when they spoke to each other, she had some intriguing information for the detective.
Bro, did y'all ever talk to the neighbor? I'm saying though, he said talk to the neighbor. She knows.
Hello? Hey, Jasmine. I know you and Mitchell were very close. Yeah, I'm just so wow, like. I know. I just didn't know what's going on, like. I'm very sorry. I know it's hard, but hey, listen, I really need your help.
Was it for his industry or something? Like, I know he didn't just open the door willingly for that boy.
Who is that boy?
It was his old boyfriend he used to mess with. Mitchell really didn't want to be with him, and I don't know what happened.
The relationship was not a healthy one, that this male had been abusing Mitchell, that there's been physical altercations in the past, and that he was kind of very controlling.
She said that just 3 weeks before the attack, Mitchell had broken up with this unnamed boyfriend, who she only referred to as that boy. But who was this mysterious figure with whom Mitchell had been fighting? With Mitchell's phone missing, how were the police going to identify that boy? It seemed this boyfriend held the key to the investigation, and to find him, the police would have to dive into Mitchell's past. Tragically, despite the best efforts of the medical professionals, Mitchell Jones would succumb to his injuries. Mitchell Jones Jr. had moved to Atlanta with the hopes and dreams of becoming an actor. When questioned, his friends and colleagues gave the police some key information about his social circle.
He was a good person. The people he worked with said he would help anybody out. But at the same time, we also learned that he liked the bad boys.
Had Mitchell got mixed up with the wrong crowd? As police looked into who he may have been with, they learned that Mitchell had been young, single, and actively dating, having registered himself on multiple dating apps. This meant that anyone he may have contacted on these apps was now a suspect. But then, something happened that would change the entire face of the investigation, taking it from a savage attack to a sickening act of murder. Now there was a killer on the loose, so Mitchell's body was sent for an immediate autopsy, but the results were unexpected and horrific.
Postmortem examination of Mitchell Jones. What was determined was they were all sharp force trauma or puncture trauma, most likely caused by a cutting instrument.
The violent and manic nature of the crime further emphasized that this was a crime of passion. The detectives needed to find this boyfriend, and they needed to find him fast. They had sent the foreign DNA found at the crime scene for testing against the CODIS database, but the testing would take a few weeks to be completed. While interviewing Mitchell's neighbors, officers would discover that one of them possessed a security camera that pointed right at Mitchell's driveway. Could this heinous crime have been caught on camera? On the night of the murder at around 9:30 p.m., the time when Mitchell placed his 911 call, the CCTV footage showed a black Buick Lucerne pulling in and out of the driveway. The footage was too dark to spot the license plate number, but knowing the make and model of the car was a completely unexpected new lead that would now take the investigation in a new direction. Investigators looked into Mitchell's exes and acquaintances who they were aware of to see if any owned the same car, but could find none. Having hit another dead end, they turned to other avenues of investigation. Mitchell's cell phone could have likely solved the case in minutes, but since they did not have it, they did the next best thing. The officers located and accessed his social media profiles. They were about to uncover something that had the potential to get them the answers they craved. They received a photo of Mitchell's elusive boyfriend from Mitchell's friend Jasmine. Mitchell had sent her the picture, and in it, many of the suspect's tattoos were visible, which detectives hoped could aid in identifying him. Detective Panarelli began to comb through Mitchell's Facebook, hoping to find someone who could potentially be the boyfriend. She saw that he had the phrase, "Rest in peace Brandon," tattooed on his torso, and on a hunch she ran a search for the term RIP Brandon on social media, but even she could never have expected that it would reveal the identity of their mysterious suspect.
You see how smart they is, though? That's all she had to do.
I found a Facebook page that had the hashtag "Rest in Peace Brandon," and when I clicked on the profile, it showed the same picture of that boy.
The search turned up the profile of Eric Hopkins. The detectives had finally located Mitchell's boyfriend and were sure that they were about to unmask a killer and end this case once and for all. When the detectives looked into Eric and his past record, they learned something that chilled them to the bone.
He had stabbed a former lover in a domestic type dispute. So it was a very similar incident. We also learned through talking to people that he was very quick to anger.
Eric's anger issues, coupled with his past conviction, clearly highlighted that he was capable of committing this extremely violent murder. The detectives decided that it was time to bring Eric in.
Hello. Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
We need to talk to you about some things.
It's just too easy. I don't think it's him.
Well, don't know whether you know or not, but Mitchell Jones, he was killed a week ago.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir, I am. I hate to tell you this over the phone, but you know, we know you two were in a relationship, and you may have information that can help us in this investigation.
You guys are going to have to speak to my attorney about all of this, because I don't really want to be put in the middle of it.
And that's not a problem. I mean, get your attorney, but we need to speak to you, like, today.
You won't be able to speak with me today.
Okay.
I'm not answering any more questions until there's a attorney present.
This only made him seem even more suspicious to the detectives. They also learned that Eric had an arrest warrant for a probation violation. This was simply too good a chance to pass up, and they made their move, hoping to make Eric reveal his evil secrets.
Eric was very calm during the interview. He provided us his phone, provided us information who he was with, and what location he was at during the time of the murder.
The detectives were shocked by his cooperation. He willingly provided everything they asked for, including a DNA swab. The swab was sent for testing, but the results again would take time. His alibi for the crime was checked and found to be real. The detectives were
I told y'all it's too easy. It'd be too easy if it was him.
frustrated that their best lead had hit a dead end, but seeing Eric gave them one more idea of what could have occurred.
Mitchell Jones was very athletic, and he was a lot larger than our prime suspect, Eric was. So we knew possibly there was another person involved if it was Eric.
With this new angle in mind, they now began to look into Eric's known friends and associates, hoping to uncover his sinister partner in crime. When they obtained his phone records, they saw that his most contacted person in the weeks leading up to the murder was none other than Mitchell. But looking further, they saw something more. The second most called number was someone named DeAndre Fleming. Could this be the accomplice they were looking for?
Now our thought process is, did Eric have DeAndre drive to Mitchell's house and kill him for Eric, or they were both there?
On December 11th, 2018, they decided to go
If it was him, and they did it like that, and he not the one that cut his hand, so.
speak to DeAndre in person, and when they reached his residence, they would see something that made them sure they were in the right place.
Another detective and I drive to DeAndre's house, and as we're walking up to the driveway, we see a black Buick Lucerne. The same vehicle we saw on video surveillance from that night.
The detectives entered the home, positive that they were about to nab their man, but when they asked him whether he knew Eric Hopkins, DeAndre said he had no idea who this was.
Now we're kind of thinking, okay, is he lying, or, do we have the wrong DeAndre?
Perplexed, the detectives decided to show him a picture of Eric, wondering if his reaction would betray his lies. But what DeAndre did next was something they never saw coming.
Right as he saw the picture, he said, "Oh, I play video game with that guy," and immediately recognized him.
They realized that even though DeAndre and Eric played video games together, their number had only connected because he used his phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. While this cleared DeAndre of any suspicion, it had also set the detectives back again. Their prime suspect and his most likely accomplice both now seemed to have no evidence pointing towards their involvement. But just when the detectives were losing hope, they got back crucial evidence that they hoped would crack the entire case wide open. 3 months after Mitchell's murder, the DNA test results from the blood at the front door came back. The blood was not a match to Mitchell, meaning it definitely belonged to the killer. But just as the detectives were getting their hopes up, they would be dashed again when they discovered something shocking. The test results showed that the blood was not a match for Eric Hopkins. Their prime suspect was cleared. There were also no matches in the CODIS database, meaning now they had no new leads to follow.
At this point, I feel very upset because I thought we were so close. There was a lot of time put into finding Eric Hopkins and then learning that he's not the suspect. That was very frustrating because now I knew we had to start from zero.
At this time, detectives Penarelli and Grimstead would often discuss the case with other detectives within the unit, hoping someone would be able to sniff out a new lead. One of these was Special Agent David Ricey. Now looking for new avenues of investigation, the detectives decided to pivot. They had received Mitchell's cell phone records, and they decided to see if they could use these to track down where his phone could be, as they hoped they could retrieve data from the phone that would point them towards a new suspect.
What we found is the
Alright, we're gonna stop it right there. Ooh-wee. Cause this one, hey, we got a good one with this one, I ain't gonna lie. What y'all think? Okay, so the ex-boyfriend eliminated, right? I mean, unless no, it wasn't his blood though. Did they take the dude with the car blood? I mean, it could have been somebody he met online. But I mean, I don't know. Like they said, this is a crime of passion. So like, maybe somebody from his past, like before his other ex. I don't know. See, that's why I couldn't be a detective, because I see how quick I just said forget it. That's how I be. But nah, man. Nah, man. That's it for this video. Remember, man, we at 250. We trying to bust 300 now. Like we starting the year off right. I ain't gonna lie, I like it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Keep rocking with me. I'm rock with y'all. Cause in Peso we trust. But like I said, if you made it this far, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, ring that bell, and I'll see you on the next video. And we gone. You did.